Courage is standing alone, not when the cameras are flashing, not when the crowd is cheering, but when the noise disappears and you are left with nothing but your convictions. Anyone can feel strong when surrounded by supporters, but the true test of bravery is when you stand on your own, holding firm to what you believe, even when the world turns its back. That is the moment where courage is revealed, not in company, but in solitude. To stand alone means to face the fear of isolation. Humans crave approval. We want acceptance. We want recognition. We want to feel that others are with us. But the path of greatness often demands that you walk roads no one else dares to take. The crowd may laugh. The critics may shout. The so-called experts may predict your downfall, but courage whispers back, stay the course. Standing alone is not weakness, it is the highest expression of strength. Because if you can survive alone, you can survive anything. This kind of courage requires clarity. You must know who you are and what you stand for. Without that, the pressure of the world will bend you. People will try to sway you with their opinions, tempt you with comfort, scare you with consequences. But when your convictions are strong, you don't bend. You don't need approval, because truth itself becomes your companion. The courage to stand alone comes from knowing your foundation is unshakable. Standing alone also exposes you to criticism. The moment you step away from the safety of the crowd, you make yourself a target. People will misunderstand you, mock you, even hate you. But here's the lesson. Criticism is proof that you are standing for something worth noticing. No one throws stones at what does not shine. The arrows of criticism may sting, but they cannot pierce a heart armored with conviction. Courage is choosing to keep moving forward despite the voices that try to break you. The loneliness of standing alone also forges resilience. When you can walk through rejection without breaking, when you can endure misunderstanding without shrinking, when you can take ridicule without losing your fire, you are becoming unbreakable. Each step you take alone builds a deeper confidence, a deeper faith in yourself. Soon, you no longer need validation because you've proven to yourself that your courage is real, not dependent on applause. And something powerful happens when you stand alone with courage. Eventually, others begin to follow. At first, they may doubt you, but when they see you refuse to bow, when they see you endure the storm without falling, your courage gives them courage. Your stand becomes their example. What began as isolation becomes inspiration. And this is how leaders are born, not by following the crowd, but by daring to walk away from it. The greatest victories in history were not won by the majority. They were won by the brave few who had the courage to stand apart. Standing alone does not mean you are abandoned. It means you are chosen to carry a burden others cannot. And the heavier the burden, the greater the legacy. So if you find yourself alone in your struggle, don't despair. That is not a sign of weakness. It is a test of strength. That is life asking you, do you have the courage to walk without applause, to fight without backup, to believe without approval? If your answer is yes, then you are already stronger than most. Because real courage is not standing tall in a crowd. It is standing tall when the crowd walks away. Conviction over comfort is the heartbeat of real courage. Anyone can chase comfort. Comfort is easy. Comfort is staying quiet when you should speak, choosing the safe path instead of the right one, following the crowd instead of standing out. But comfort never created champions, never built legacies, never shook the world. What does? Conviction, the unshakable belief in what you stand for, the fire that burns so strong that you'd rather suffer for truth than live soft in a lie. The battle between conviction and comfort happens inside every one of us. Comfort whispers, take it easy. Don't risk it, stay safe. Conviction roars back, stand up, speak out, fight for what matters. Comfort feeds your body, but conviction feeds your soul. Comfort builds a temporary shelter, but conviction builds an eternal legacy. The ones who rise above the rest are not those who chase comfort, but those who chose conviction again and again, no matter the cost. Choosing conviction over comfort demands sacrifice. It means saying no to shortcuts, no to dishonor, no to betrayal of self. It means being willing to lose opportunities, friends, or even status because your principles are worth more than any prize. Conviction is the line in the sand that you refuse to cross. It's standing on truth even when lies would make your life easier. And that's where courage shows its teeth, not when you're rewarded for your beliefs, but when you're punished for them and still refuse to let go. The world will always test your convictions. There will be pressure to conform, pressure to be silent, pressure to fit into a box that was never meant for you. The weak trade their convictions for acceptance. But the strong hold firm, no matter how heavy the pressure gets. That's why conviction feels uncomfortable. It stretches you, it pushes you beyond ease. It forces you to grow into someone who cannot be bought, silenced, or broken. Conviction also gives life meaning. Comfort might feel good in the moment, but it leaves you empty in the long run. Think about it, the moments you remember, the moments that define you, are never the ones where you took the easy road. They are the moments where you stood firm, where you chose courage, where you suffered for what you believed in, and came out stronger. Conviction makes your story worth telling. Comfort makes your story forgettable. And here's the truth conviction inspires. When others see you choose principle over ease, truth over silence, struggle over shortcuts, they are moved. They might not admit it, but deep down they respect it. Because conviction awakens conviction. Your stand gives others permission to stand. Your courage gives them courage. That ripple effect is how one person's conviction can shake an entire generation. But don't mistake conviction for stubbornness. Stubbornness is refusing to move for pride. Conviction is refusing to move for principle. The difference is in the foundation. Stubbornness is about ego. Conviction is about truth. And truth always outlives comfort. Comfort fades, but conviction stands the test of time. So ask yourself, what do you value more, ease or honor, safety or strength? Comfort might protect you for a moment, but conviction will define you forever. Champions, leaders, legends, they all chose conviction. They were willing to lose the world, but they refused to lose themselves. In the end, life will always give you two choices, the couch of comfort or the battlefield of conviction. One leaves you soft, the other makes you strong. One makes you invisible, the other makes you unforgettable. If you want to live with courage, if you want to leave a mark that lasts, choose conviction over comfort every time. Strength beyond muscles is what truly defines a champion. Muscles can win you around, but character wins you a lifetime. Muscles can lift weight, but spirit can lift nations. Anyone can train their body to grow stronger, but only a few have the courage to train their mind, their will, and their heart. That is the strength that never fades, the strength that goes beyond the flesh and becomes unshakable power. Physical strength has limits. No matter how powerful you are, age will slow you down, time will wear on your body, and sooner or later, your physical prime will pass. But the strength of character, the strength built on resilience, integrity, and courage, outlives the body. That kind of strength grows deeper with every trial, every setback, every battle fought not in the gym or the ring, but in life. It's the strength to keep moving forward when your body screams to quit. It's the strength to stand for what's right when the world pushes you to give in. This kind of strength is invisible to the eye, but undeniable in its impact. You can't measure it in pounds or inches, but you can see it in how a person carries themselves in the storm. It's the calm in chaos, the fire in struggle, the refusal to bow when life hits hardest. That's the strength that wins respect, the kind no opponent can intimidate, no critic can break, no failure can erase. Strength beyond muscles also means emotional control. Anyone can throw punches, but not everyone can control their anger, their fear, their doubt. Real strength is being the master of your emotions instead of their slave. It's being able to smile in the storm, to stay composed under pressure, to think clearly when others panic. That's what separates champions from the rest. They don't just fight with their body, they fight with their mind. And here's the truth, strength beyond muscles is what carries you through pain. Muscles alone can't carry heartbreak, rejection, or defeat, but character can. Muscles can fail under the weight of despair, but spirit refuses to crumble. Champions are not remembered because they were the strongest physically. They're remembered because they were the strongest mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They endured when others broke. They kept going when others quit. That's strength. This strength is built through trials. Every hardship, every setback, every failure is a chance to grow stronger inside. Just like muscles grow when torn and rebuilt, inner strength grows when tested and stretched, when you choose not to give up, when you hold on to hope in darkness, When you stay true to your values under pressure, you are training a strength that can never be taken from you. Strength beyond muscles also inspires others. People might admire your physique, but they are moved by your courage. They might respect your power, but they are changed by your resilience. The strength that lasts isn't in your arms or your chest, it's in your example. It's in the way you rise after falling, the way you stay unshaken in the storm, the way you live with integrity when it costs you everything. That's the strength that outlives your name. So never mistake strength as just physical. Build your body, yes, but build your mind more. Train your muscles, but train your will even harder. Because the world doesn't just need muscle. It needs courage, conviction, resilience, and vision. Those are the true weights you must learn to carry. In the end, strength beyond muscles is the kind of power no clock can weaken, no opponent can beat, no storm can destroy. It is the strength of a champion spirit, the strength that turns ordinary men into legends. And that is the strength worth chasing. Sacrifice defines courage because there is no real bravery without giving something up. Anyone can talk about strength, anyone can dream about greatness, but only those willing to pay the price ever touch it. Sacrifice is the currency of courage. It is proof that you value your principles, your vision, your destiny more than comfort, ease, or safety. To sacrifice is to say, I am willing to lose something now so I can hold on to something greater forever. Courage is not built in easy choices. It's forged in sacrifice. It means giving up the warm bed for the cold road at dawn, the comfort of silence for the risk of speaking truth, the approval of the crowd for the loneliness of conviction. Sacrifice hurts. It takes pieces of you. It makes you wonder if it's worth it. But every champion knows that without sacrifice, courage is just a word. With sacrifice, courage becomes a living fire. The world often teaches us to avoid sacrifice, to take the easy way out. It tells us to protect ourselves, to seek comfort, to never risk too much. But courage flips that script. It says, if I have to lose sleep, I'll do it. If I have to lose friends, I'll do it. If I have to lose opportunities, I'll do it. Because what I stand for is bigger than what I lose. That mindset is the foundation of every great fighter, every great leader, every great soul who ever made a difference. Sacrifice also teaches humility. When you give something up, when you suffer for a cause, when you endure loss for a principle, you strip away ego and pride. You remind yourself that greatness is not free and you are not above the price. Sacrifice grounds you, but it also elevates you. It makes every victory sweeter, every achievement more meaningful, because you know what it cost. And here's the truth: sacrifice separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most people want victory without cost, glory without grind, recognition without struggle. They want the crown, but not the cross. They want the applause, but not the sacrifice. That's why courage is rare, because sacrifice is rare. To step into sacrifice is to step into a path few are willing to walk. But that's also why those who walk it are remembered forever. Sacrifice is not just about what you give up. It's about what you refuse to give up. You may lose comfort, you may lose opportunities, you may even lose battles, but you refuse to lose your principles. That's the essence of courage, to sacrifice everything before you sacrifice your soul, to let go of ease before you let go of truth, to lay down your safety before you lay down your honor. That is courage in its purest form. And sacrifice does more than build you. It inspires others. When people see you give up what's easy for what's right, when they see you endure pain for purpose, when they see you choose integrity over convenience, it lights something in them. Your sacrifice becomes their lesson, your courage becomes their roadmap. The world changes not because of comfort seekers, but because of sacrifice makers. So never fear sacrifice. Embrace it. Let it refine you, let it test you, let it prove you. The nights of struggle, the tears of loss, the weight of giving, none of it is wasted. It is all shaping you into someone who cannot be bought, cannot be bent, cannot be broken. In the end, courage is not about what you gain, it's about what you are willing to give up. And those who sacrifice for truth, for justice, for their calling, carry a power no comfort seeker will ever know. Sacrifice defines courage because it proves that your purpose is greater than your pain. And that is what makes a fighter, a leader, a legend. Courage inspires generations because it is the kind of power that echoes far beyond the moment it is shown. Strength of the body fades, wealth disappears, fame is forgotten, but courage, true, undeniable courage, becomes a light that shines long after the fighter is gone. When one person stands firm in the face of fear, when one person refuses to bow to pressure, when one person chooses principle over comfort, they don't just win their own battle, they ignite something in others. That spark can live on for years, decades, even centuries. Courage has a ripple effect. Imagine a stone thrown into water. The ripples stretch far and wide. One act of bravery works the same way. A child watching sees it and thinks, maybe I can be strong too. A struggling soul hears about it and says, if they can endure, so can I. A whole community draws strength from it, rising above despair because one person dared to be courageous. This is how courage multiplies. It spreads like fire, touching hearts and igniting souls. The beauty of courage is that it does not stay locked within the person who shows it. It escapes, it travels, it plants seeds in places unseen. Generations who never met the champion still feel the effect of their bravery. They read about it, they hear the stories, they carry the example forward. Courage outlives its moment because people pass it down like a torch from one hand to another. And that torch never dies as long as someone else is willing to carry it. Think about this truth. Fear weakens, but courage strengthens. Fear paralyzes, but courage energizes. Fear is contagious, yes, but so is courage. And courage is far more powerful because it gives hope. One person's decision not to quit can create a whole army of believers who refuse to quit. One person's choice to stand tall can give a whole generation the spine to stand tall too. That is the legacy of courage. Courage inspires generations because it shows people that impossible is only a word. It tears down the walls of doubt and builds bridges of possibility. A champion's courage whispers across time limits are not real. Boundaries can be broken. Stand up, fight back, believe in yourself. These whispers become voices in the minds of dreamers, fueling their determination, guiding their steps, reminding them that greatness is not for the chosen few. It is for the brave. But courage doesn't just inspire dreams, it inspires action. Watching someone risk everything for what they believe forces us to look at our own lives and ask, am I living too safe? Am I hiding from my truth? Am I holding back my fight? And often, that reflection pushes people to act. Courage awakens courage. It creates a cycle where one brave act breeds another and another until a movement is born. History proves this again and again. The bravest figures are remembered not because they were flawless, not because they were the strongest, but because they were courageous when it mattered most. They took stands others were afraid to take. They endured sacrifices others refused to face. And in doing so, they left behind a roadmap for future generations. This is how you fight. This is how you endure. This is how you win. That is why courage is immortal. It doesn't just live in the fighter's time, it transcends time. It becomes a beacon for those who come after, guiding them through their own struggles, reminding them that they too have the power to stand tall. Courage builds legends, and legends build generations of fighters. So remember this, your courage is never just for you. When you stand firm, when you endure hardship, when you rise again after defeat, someone else is watching, someone else is learning, someone else is finding strength through your fight. That is how courage travels, how it multiplies, how it shapes the world. Generations will forget riches, forget victories, forget fame. But they will never forget courage, because courage doesn't just win battles, it creates warriors in every heart it touches. And that is the kind of legacy that lasts forever. Victory beyond the ring is the greatest triumph a fighter can ever achieve. Winning inside the ropes proves skill, discipline, and power, but winning beyond them proves heart, soul, and character. The ring is only one stage of battle, life is the true arena. And while belts, titles, and applause may fade, the victories won outside the ring live forever. Victory beyond the ring means conquering yourself. The toughest opponent you will ever face isn't across from you, it's inside you. It's the doubt that whispers you're not enough, the fear that freezes your steps, the weakness that tempts you to quit. Winning a fight against another man is one thing. Winning the fight against your own demons is something greater. Every time you silence doubt, every time you face fear head on, every time you choose perseverance over surrender, you claim a victory far beyond any trophy. It also means standing for something bigger than yourself. In the ring, the fight is about you and your opponent. But beyond the ring, the fight is about justice, truth, dignity, and courage. When you use your platform not only to shine, but to light the way for others, you prove that victory is not selfish, it's selfless. It's not just about how high you climb, but how many people you lift along the way. That kind of victory can't be counted on a scoreboard. It's measured in lives touched and hearts inspired. Victory beyond the ring requires the courage to keep your integrity intact. Glory tempts you to compromise, success tempts you to forget your values, and power tempts you to betray your principles. But real victory is refusing to sell your soul, no matter how high the stakes. To walk away from what's wrong, even when it costs you, is a victory no opponent can steal. You may lose money, opportunities, or popularity, but if you hold on to your truth, you've already won. It also means enduring when the spotlight fades. Champions inside the ring shine while the crowd cheers, but champions beyond the ring shine even when no one is watching. They keep fighting, keep pushing, keep living with courage even when the cameras turn off. Because the real fight never ends. Life will keep throwing punches, loss, betrayal, failure, pain. Victory beyond the ring is learning to take those hits and still rise round after round, long after the crowd has gone home. And here's what makes it powerful victory beyond the ring inspires a legacy that outlives you. Titles are forgotten, records are broken, but the example of a life lived with courage and principle never dies. People remember the fighter, yes, but they revere the warrior who fought battles that fists alone could never win. They remember the one who stood tall when it was easier to bow, who spoke truth when silence was safer, who lived for more than applause. That is the victory that echoes for generations. Victory beyond the ring is also about resilience. It's about losing in the eyes of the world, yet refusing to be defeated in the eyes of your soul. You might fall, you might fail, you might be doubted and disrespected, but as long as you rise again, you've claimed a victory that no scorecard can erase. Because true victory is not about never falling, it's about never staying down. So understand this. The greatest victories are not the ones you win in front of millions. They are the ones you win in the silence of your own struggle, the battles no one sees, the wars fought in your heart, the choices that define your soul. These are the victories that matter most. Victory beyond the ring is the victory of living true, fighting with courage, and refusing to quit. It is the victory that outlasts time, outshines titles, and outlives the ring. That is the victory of a champion, and that is the victory worth chasing.